Hey everyone, it's Alan here with St. John's Community Services, and this week our special guest is Ryan Tempel, Regional Director in Bartlett, Tennessee. And so, Ryan, welcome to Champions in the Crisis. It's really good to have you here. Appreciate all that you're doing down in Tennessee to keep people that we support safe. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Getting by, staying busy for the most part, but I'm doing well.
So for people that might not know kind of some of our work in Tennessee, can you describe in the Bartlett area, which is right outside of Memphis, what kind of services are you providing with your team there?
Sure. We provide services for the intellectually disabled here in the Memphis Bartlett area. We serve 24 individuals and operate 10 homes, and in those homes we provide supported living services, day services, in-home services, and supported employment services.
Okay, and I've met a number of the people we support. Wonderful human beings and individuals. Some have some incredible challenges, right? Have high medical needs. So with that in mind, what does it look like to provide those kind of services in home during a time of pandemic that we're in right now?
Well, it's been a challenge, right? Because we've got to pay close attention to those precursors and those diagnoses that a lot of our individuals have that could put them at risk for transmission of COVID-19. So we've really had them along with staff, really stand down at home, make sure that they're staying put, and they're using PPE every day, and just checking on them each and every day.
And it's a unique environment too because of some of the intellectual disabilities that people have. How is their understanding of even the idea of social distancing or not being able to go out in the community? Because some of these folks are very active. They're used to being very active. And now
Yes.
they've had to deal with a time where that hasn't been the case. How are you explaining that? How are they accepting it and adjusting to it?
It's been an adjustment. They're doing wonderfully. I think the difficult discussions that we've had has been primarily with the stakeholders and the families. It's been very, very tough for them to adjust. But our individuals are handling it wonderfully in that regard.
Yeah, so maybe explain that a little bit more. I mean, you and I were sharing about how challenging it is for us to even see our family or our children during this time. So kind of how are families adjusting, through this as well?
They're doing well. It takes some discussions, not always easy at times, because nobody asked for this to occur with regards to the pandemic. It's really supporting the families, having them understand what we're doing is to make sure that our individuals are kept safe at all times.
Right.
Along with our individuals, our staff are kept safe at all times.
Right.
There's been an adjustment in some regards with families that are used to seeing their loved ones on weekends, seeing their loved ones during, we got Mother's Day coming up, right? So,
right. Yeah.
So that's been an adjustment for the individuals as well as the families.
Yeah, I imagine. So by the time this airs, we will just pass Mother's Day, but you're right. It's a time when naturally everyone wants to get together with their loved ones. And on top of that, the families that have individuals we support with them, they take a very active role, right? Like they want to see their loved ones. They want to regularly have them in their homes. They want to go out with them and have meals together. And so, it's got to be a very, very challenging time, just given some of the additional needs and adversity and issues that some of the people we support have. So certainly a shout out for those families that are in regular communication and have been really supportive and understanding, which is tremendous. What are some of so the state is starting to reopen. Tennessee is kind of early in the game for reopening. How how are you messaging with your team, and what are you concerned about as things kind of start to ease their way back to normal?
Our team meets, my team in Bartlett and Jackson, we meet online, remotely via Skype every day. So we do a daily call and touch base, and we hit on some points that are coming down from the state, and we hit on some points that we have with our leadership calls for informative purposes. So with the state opening up, we're still sheltering in place.
Okay.
For the foreseeable future.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is we serve a very vulnerable population. So we want to err on the side of caution with regards to that, and make sure that we're still using those procedures that were implemented during quarantine and lockdown to make sure that our individuals are safe, as well as our staff.
Yeah, because we've been very fortunate in Tennessee. Even though we've had people show symptoms that turned out not to be COVID, there were some other illnesses and things happening. But so far, no staff and or individuals we support have tested positive. So that's a really good thing, and we're hoping to maintain that, obviously. So it is challenging to think about how do you try to, again, hold people safe and manage your way through that when the world around you is going to start going back to normal, and
right.
So it'll be interesting if you look at the White House guidelines. The high risk individuals like those we support are the last to kind of go back to normal.
That's right.
Operations. So it'll be challenging. You're a leadership guy. I've gotten to watch that about you over the last couple of years. How are you leading your team kind of through this time, through this process?
Through grace, love, support for them. I try to make sure that it comes through and it's interpreted universally. It's a tough time for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. It's an adjustment for everybody. I want to lead by example. I want to know and show my reports that, hey, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this, and set the example so they feel comforted, they feel supported as we work and get through this. So a lot of grace, a lot of support, and love and understanding with regards to everything that we're going through.
Yeah, I've seen that in your communication, through emails or, just the sense of you're communicating a lot with your team. You're demonstrating that they're being heard and you're valuing what they're saying. So
Yes.
It's really, really quite tremendous. I know that this might be a weird time to be thinking about new opportunities, but you've been kind of looking around the community to see where else St. John's might be able to get active in different ways. What have you found so far? What are you investigating?
Well, obviously I have, here in the Shelby County area, we have the opportunity to really get involved with the homeless community.
Wow.
So we've gotten recently involved with the Community Alliance for the Homeless here in Shelby County. So that was only recently, just before the turn of the year, that we got involved, and we're now a member. So we're looking at really forging and building some relationships, harvesting them, to become more invested with our homeless community, see what we can do as a provider to work with and serve.
That's excellent. I mean, I'm excited about that. Obviously, coming out of homeless services, and also with St. John's having homeless services in Ithaca, New York, as well as in DC now. It's thrilling, and I've been thrilled to see your efforts there. And you took part in the point in time count too, if I remember.
Yes, very interesting. So, and that's been part of the process of building and harvesting those relationships, is learning just how everything works and how that service line operates, and the different data platforms that they use to ensure that we're reaching our homeless community, supporting them, loving on them, and empowering them to live their best lives.
Yeah, it's really cool. But you brought up something so key, which is learning. And I feel at St. John's, it's something that we've been trying to do.
Yes.
Part of our DNA is just to learn not only kind of where might we be able to bring a core competency we have, like supporting people that are medically fragile, as an example,
Right.
but learning generally about other systems and processes and populations and how things work and how we might be able to get involved is pretty cool. So,
Yeah.
Ryan, we got a couple of minutes left. On a personal note, I know you're a father, and also a fellow Canadian. So you've got family
Yes.
in Canada. I do as well.
Yes.
How are you doing during this time? How are you dealing with kind of things on a personal level?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. It's been an adjustment, like I've alluded to on so many times during this call, but I'm doing all right. I think in the back of my mind and just part of my DNA is I always worry about so much about everybody else. So I'm consistently making sure that I'm checking in with people because that serves me,
Good.
that they're okay. Um, I stay busy at home as much as I can, doing stuff around the house that I wasn't doing before. I've gotten used to different things that I haven't really done before. I have my groceries delivered now. I know. I never.
Technology is awesome.
Yeah. So I check in with my family often. My kids. Obviously, I hadn't been able to see them a lot. I went about 4 weeks without seeing them. So that's big for me. Checking in with family north of the border, checking in to see how they're doing. I'm really involved with my church online through virtual technology. We do check-ins every evening. So that's been powerful. And then I've done some working out at home, exercise.
Good.
That's it can work. It can work. So I'm doing that.
And in this, you just had recently an anniversary of sorts, if I remember correctly, where you had a tragic, devastating accident a couple of years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
And so part of that working out, first of all, it's just amazing that you're alive to begin with, and we are so blessed and thankful for that. But part of that working out is continued therapy, right? Recovery and getting your body back to where you were pre-accident.
Exactly. And it's a lot of what people probably don't know and behind the scenes is self-care. Self-care. We don't see it and really understand what other people might be going through away from what you see. But yeah, it's been a transition, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be able to have gotten through it, continue to go through it. I ride shotgun with my son in that because he was affected by it. So I get a lot of strength through him in that process. Yeah, it's powerful. And I try to use it as much as I possibly can as a vehicle to inspire other people.
Yeah. Well, you are inspirational. So
Thank you.
Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing about that. And thank you for the work that you're doing in Tennessee. It's so vital. It's so absolutely imperative. And I know that you do it with love and compassion. And I know that that's spread with the team as well, that shares that and embodies that with the people we support. So Ryan, I want to thank you so very much for all that you're doing.
Thank you, Alan. I want to say thank you to you, the leadership team in DC, everybody that has really stepped up at this time. You guys job too. I also want to shout out to my team here, my local team, my team of ladies, because you're looking at pretty much the only guy outside of Randy that's our finance guy, and he split between two locations or multiple locations. But my ladies at the office, my ladies that run our homes, our DSPs, they are the true heroes, and I can speak on that. I used to walk in their shoes years ago, and I was a frontline caregiver. So we couldn't do this without them. We really care. We really love them. And I thank you for your leadership and everybody's leadership.
I appreciate that. Honored to serve you all, and just thank you so very much. So take care and stay healthy and be well, Ryan.
All right. You too.